Topic number two, without further ado, Mr. Davis.
So yesterday, Arman Jovic shared his international player rankings with our Discord, and this is not guys who are returning. So Big T, he's ineligible for this. Fedor Zujic, guys like him. I'm trying to think if there's any other big names. It's all the guys who are coming into the sport this year and looking at them and their impact. So I sent this to you. I wanted to react to this and then maybe do a little bit of our takes on who do we think will maybe not necessarily be the best or the most talented, but most impactful, who could have the biggest roles for their respective teams.
Okay, I like this. I like this a lot. All right, so I got this list up here. Just to give people a little bit of insight here, at least names I recognize. Riley, if I miss somebody, you can throw it out there. We got our guy Dominic Sarr at two, Heinz Steinbach three, Mario St. Supri, who will be at Gonzaga, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
four. The Ritter, Virginia's on here. Your guy, Luka Bogovic, comes in at seven on this list. Sonata Fru, Mihajlo Petrovic, Omer Meyer. A lot of really good international names on this list. I will say, I'll start off by saying this. The first one that's hit me in the face right away is Dwayne Aristode. Dwayne Aristode, like I keep hearing all this great stuff from him out of Arizona to where like he could take that three spot over. Like obviously they have Del Orso, and then there's another international player that they have, right?
Yeah, Ivan Karchenkov, who's ranked
Oh, so they're
16th,
they're literally
one
back to back
spot.
on this. They're back to
Mm-hmm.
back on this list. Aristode is 15 and Ivan is 16. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see which maybe one of those players kind of takes that spot. But I think Dwayne Aristode could have a massive impact for Arizona this year.
I mean, you've heard me go on record. I love Arizona's roster. I have them in the Final Four. I'm a big fan of Karchenkov. I think as long as one of those two can eventually take the reins from Del Orso, who I think can play a role, but just has some limitations, particularly defensively, Arizona will be sitting pretty. But yeah, a lot of good players who I'm excited to see. I was kind of surprised to see Filip Jovic that high for Auburn.
Mm.
He's someone who maybe he's more of a swing piece than I envisioned. I thought he was going to be strictly a bench guy. Just in the mega games I watched, I didn't think he always stood out, but I know he's a pretty good shooter at 6'9", so I think he should find a role there. Someone who I was kind of surprised to see that high was Ilias Camaradine. I might have botched that pronunciation, but the combo guard who will be playing at Ole Miss this upcoming year. Seeing him ranked this high, do you remember last week, Cart, when we hypothesized maybe that Chris Beard could turn back the clock and have a top 10 defense when we were projecting our top defenses per Kimpom?
Yeah.
I like kind of want to be in on Ole Miss if Camaradine is this big time.
Ooh. Okay. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I mean, look, you have a team in Ole Miss, like they have some talent coming in. Like Store, I think Store's gonna bounce back. Just straight up. I think
Mhm.
Store's gonna bounce back. Nico Bundle is extremely talented. Malik Dia, who I loved last season, now in year two, being an up transfer from Belmont, he could be a guy that I think could put up like 18 a game, 17 a game, depending on
Mhm.
who the leading scorer is on this team. So like I do think that Chris Beard has a lot of talent, has some underrated talent on that team, and he's one of the best coaches in the sport, right? When it comes
Mhm.
to getting it done on the court. So he's one to definitely watch out after here. As I was scrolling through this, I'd love to get your thoughts on this as well. And maybe this is because I mean this is just ranking players. This isn't like situation or anything like that. I'm assuming, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it is.
Jacob Furphy should be higher than
I
13.
agree. I was surprised Furphy was that low.
Yeah, Furphy, to me, from what I've seen, is a top 15 international prospect in this class. Now, we've heard Braylon Mullins be incredible. Obviously, they got Jalen Stewart also at the three spot. I'm not sure like where they would play Furphy. He's 6'5", so you could play him like small forward, shooting guard. Maybe
Mhm.
there's some minutes for him behind like a solo ball possibly. But Jacob Furphy was so impressive with Australia, and I think he's going to be a freshman who's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, I'm with you. A couple other observations. Miami has two guys in the 60s and one in the 70s, which I was surprised to see some of them that low. They have a Turkish big name, his last Salih Altunes, who highlights looks like a low post scorer, and then they have Timothy Malovech, I believe is how you pronounce it, who is another. I think he was on Mega or another one of the ABA guys. Who seeing him that low is a little bit surprising to me. And then Alexa Ristic for Indiana at 76. I was kind of surprised to see him that low. Couple other notable names: Kareem Retail at Arkansas. 137th. Don't think he'll be an impact guy at all, but just knew that we have a decent amount of Arkansas listeners and kind of surprised they took him. And then our guy, Luis Obiora, potential Michigan State Spartan, ultimate Texas Longhorn, down all the way at 140.
Ooh,
The
140.
big, the big Brit.
Big, the
Why
big.
so low on him?
I was the original Big Brit. Never forget. Shout out to the Albion Britons. But yeah, I was interested to see him very low. I mean, also like I feel like they played some of the hits in this one. You have a lot of guys coming to the ACC, right? You got
Hmm.
DeRitter, you got Fruit. Also, like I have come along with this recently. I haven't talked to you about it, Riley. I've actually talked to a friend of mine who is a Virginia Tech fan, right? And he's been in purgatory the past couple,
Yes.
just Virginia Tech basketball hasn't been what it's been. He goes by Neo. I think it's Nicholas Abadalis, I want to say.
Hmm. Yeah.
The minute he got on campus, the first thing I see is him punching all over people, and his international film is crazy. They're
Yes.
like a lot of people are saying that like Mike Young and Chester, they got an NBA player at Virginia Tech, which is insane.
Neo is nasty. He is probably so. I was thinking of the guys who I think will have the ball in their hands the most and be the most important for their team's offenses. Mario St. Superi at Gonzaga, Neo Abdelas at Virginia Tech, and Luka Bogovac at UNC. Talked about Bogovac plenty, but Neo, to me, I'm a Virginia Tech believer in them, especially as a sleeper this year. I think the two most important positions in basketball are the 1 and the 5. They have Neo at the 1 and they have Amani Hansberry at the 5. You're pretty solid there, which is a lot more than like any ACC bubble team can say. Like there is a clear path for them to find themselves in the upper half of that conference and be on the right side of the bubble if Mike Young I hate even saying turn back the clock because I think he's a really good coach. They just haven't invested in basketball in recent years, and they finally gave him some money. And look what happened. They got it. They got an NBA player who's going to be running the point, and he's like 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, it's gonna be special. Do they still have Toby Lawal on Virginia
Yeah,
Tech?
Lawal is back.
Yeah,
There's a lot to like.
yeah. I'll be
Is
tapping
there
into
any other? Okay, sorry.
I said I'll be tapping into Virginia Tech basketball this year.
Yeah, very curious to see how they look. Are there any other players from this list that maybe they're not in the top 5 or something, but you look at and you think, okay, this guy's going to have a big role for his team and maybe outperform this ranking a little bit?
I'm very intrigued to see Kostic at Kansas State.
Hmm.
Kostic. I just think that I saw a lot of good stuff from him playing internationally. I'm very interested to watch him. Um, it's cheat code to say like Yelovich and those guys, they're right outside the top 10. But
Yeah.
shout out to Illinois fans out there. You got Mirkovic at 12. You have Mihailo at 9, who also above Omer Meyer, too, by the way. So the Balkan boys are coming in strong. Is there anyone outside the top 10 that you kind of see that you're very intrigued to watch this year? And maybe no. Oh, Dom Diamande is also on this list, too, BYU player who's been really good in the summer film I've seen.
Yeah, I think there's a world where we talked about him on a video earlier today, breaking down Hoops HQ's rankings, where Matthew Griesic, he could find himself in the starting lineup if it's Bruce Thornton, John Mobley, Griesic, and maybe they slide Dev Royal down to the 4 if Brandon Noel, the right state transfer doesn't work out. I mean, again, you can go back and watch the video where we broke down Hoops HQ's rankings, but Griosic was very good for Barcelona's B team in the Adidas Next Gen tournament, the same one that the same set of games that Dame Sarr played really well in, and we view him as a lottery pick. So just kind of looking at that, thinking Griosic could find himself in a bigger role than expected this year. And I got one more guy who is very much, I mean, he's in the top 20, but I think I would be surprised if any of our listeners had heard of him. I had not heard of him until I started doing my research for this, but I now see the path to minutes for him. Mantas Uzinas from Lithuania, who's playing at St. Mary's. I'm dangerously close to becoming a Gales guy this season, Carter.
Whoa, wait, okay. So talk to me a little bit, but I'm wondering because I like Mikey Lewis. Mikey Lewis was number 2, I think, on our sophomore breakout list who scored under 10 points a game last year. So very interested to
Hmm.
see that, but talk to me on him.
Okay, so with Uzinas, what do you think of with St. Mary's? You think of suffocating defense. They limit their opponent's possessions. They play super slowly. They run a ton of sets, and it's like this great system that works perfectly for where are they located again? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't. Ah, shoot. I'm not going to be able
Is
to
it in
pull
Northern
this.
California?
Yes, but I can't remember the name of the town that St. Mary's is in. If only we had Connor Hope here, our West Coast
Yeah,
correspondent.
well, you know
But
what we do have? Google. One
Google.
second. One second.
So yeah, it's a defensive minded team that plays really slow, but you need someone who's going to be a flamethrower, and that's exactly what using us is. He
Moraga,
made seven.
Moraga, California.
Moraga, thank you. Using has hit 7 threes in the U20 Eurobasket tournament this past season in a single game. He averaged 16 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists in the second division of Lithuania and still played in 10 games in the first division. Also made the all defensive team in that second division of Lithuania as well, which tells me if you guard, you can play for Randy Bennett. Gonzaga might have a down year. As much as I love Mario St. Suberi, I think he's going to be a star there. The rest of the roster, I'm not as enthused by. To where maybe like I think St. Mary's gonna get in the tournament because they do pretty much every year. But maybe there's a path here where you have Mikey Lewis, Montas using us, you have Harry Wessel anchoring the defense, and Paulius Morauskas, a prolific scorer, also from Lithuania, back in the fold. Maybe they win that league.
Riley, you are one convincing gentleman. That was, I mean, I think I might be in. I'll be tapping in. You know, I love a little late night WCC action, so it's one I'll definitely be tapping into. Shout out to Arman for that list. Always very much tapped into the international prospects, and never ever forget. We got to end this topic with this though, Riley. Luka Bogovic is home. He's
He's home.
home and he's on campus. Thank you for that exercise.